Hi, good afternoon. I'm Tanya, and my metric number is EQA170038. Presentation contains four parts of my research proposal. They are background of the problem statement, research questions and objectives, and then significance of study. Given the definition, this study will focus on the economic infrastructure, and it consists of transport, telecommunication, and energy. Direct investment on infrastructure creates production facilities and stimulates economic activities, reduce transaction costs and trade costs, then improving competitiveness and at last provide employment opportunities to the poor. As the world's largest developing country, the domestic demand would drive China's economic growth. According to the NBSC, infrastructure projects can convert about 40% of investment capitals into consumption. The Chinese government now is focusing on railways, highways, bridge, airports, power plants, and high-tech industries. And among them, investments in railway seems to have the most prominent economic. Since the introduction of the economic reform and opening up, the Chinese economy has been one of the world's fastest growing. Chinese economy grew at an average annual rate of 10% from 1990s to 2007. After the US, China accounted for 15.4% of the world's total GDP in 2017. But it also raised attention that how and where Chinese economic miracle has. Infrastructure investment plays an essential role in expanding domestic demand. China now is the world's largest construction market and industry, and also owns the largest telecom market in the world, and China is also the world's largest energy consumer and producer. Infrastructure can boost economic growth through two ways: direct investment and spillover effect. The first China is the development and improvement of infrastructure contributes to the accumulation of foreign direct investment and human capital, both of which have been proved to have spillover effects on economic growth. The second China is scale effect and the network effect. It stimulates economic growth by improving output efficiency and guiding the spillover effect of better developed regions on the backward areas. Infrastructure externality can be broken down into four parts. First, a country's goods and products can only be shipped overseas through transport infrastructure. To the development and improvement of infrastructure devotes to labor force migration and then make firms easier to recruit qualified workers and thus increase productivity. Three, laborers usually flow from places with lower wages to places with higher wages, which in a sense, reduce the income gap. Four, economies of scale can be achieved only when the development of transport and information enables the market to expand in space. In theory, there is a bidirectional link between infrastructure externality and economic growth, and development economists have confirmed the positive externality of infrastructure. While it is still controversial in the empirical studies, and in this field, researchers tend to judge whether infrastructure has externality by studying the impact of infrastructure on TFP. Research questions in this study are first, how to obtain specific infrastructure indicators and infrastructure externality mathematically. Two, to what extent the externality of infrastructure have an impact on economic growth. Three, how to link them with economic growth. These three questions can be subsequently addressed with the following three objectives. First, to determine and apply the methodology for obtain infrastructure indicators and infrastructure externality respectively. Two, to determine the theoretical links between infrastructure externality and economic growth. Three, to establish if there is a bidirectional relationship between economic growth, externality of infrastructure, and infrastructure indicators. Infrastructure is a key driver of economic growth through attracting foreign direct investment and spillover effect. While only few studies on infrastructure externality in China, thus the results of this study can provide more empirical evidence and then help the ordinary people to recognize the economic effect of infrastructure and at last benefit to the capital allocation between different types of infrastructure. That's all. Thank you.